transfusion or an exchange every 3 weeks, or I decided that I was just going to stop taking my medications. It was a horrible time for me. I had to inject myself every single day. If you sickle in the placenta, it can cut off the blood flow to your fetus. Hey guys, my name is Angela and welcome to my channel. On this channel, I just share my life's journey and all the things that I'm into. So nutrition tips, because I am a certified nutritionist. Fashion advice, because I studied fashion design for 4 years and I am a qualified fashion designer and stylist. I recently had a baby, so I'm sharing my postpartum journey, my pregnancy journey, all of that stuff with you guys. If you guys have just tuned in, make sure you go ahead and hit subscribe so you can keep up to date with everything that's going on in my life and all the things that I'm doing right now and every journey that I take. You guys can come with me. And don't forget that you can also follow me on my Instagram. I do my Insta stories pretty regularly on there, and my Snapchat as well. Today I'm actually going to be talking about something a little bit different and something that maybe you are not familiar with. I've probably mentioned before in some of my videos, but I have sickle cell anemia. So that is a genetic hereditary disease that I have. It's not contagious, it's not anything infectious like that or whatever. A lot of people don't know exactly what sickle cell is, and I will have a two-parter to this video. So one is just going to be my entire life with sickle cell and characteristics of the disease and all of that stuff that comes with the disease. For now, in this video, I'm going to be sharing sickle cell and pregnancy because I have been pregnant recently. I just had a baby and I know that I have a lot of followers who actually do have sickle cell, and I had one girl in particular write to me for advice on trying to get pregnant, and she has sickle cell as well. So I thought that it was about time. I've been feeling like doing this video for a long time. It's literally been a long time coming, but something's been holding me back, and it's putting myself out there, it's making myself vulnerable, it's just re-explaining who I am to you guys and what I'm about and what I go through, and that's not something that I do every day. I don't feel like I have to justify myself or who I am or anything like that, and I don't need pity or sympathy. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't shared this story until now. But I feel like it's time. It's because there's a season for everything, and I feel like this is the season for me to share. And I feel like this as well could help that lady in particular and a lot of other people out there who have sickle cell and think maybe they'll never be able to get pregnant, or maybe they're cursed or whatever they may think. I just want you to know that there is hope for you. You can have a healthy pregnancy. You can have a healthy baby. I'm proof. I'm living proof that your life doesn't end because you have sickle cell. So sickle cell is something that you get from both your parents. Have to be carriers, and you have to inherit the gene from both of your parents. So it's a chromosome that you get from both of your parents, and it just means that your blood cells, your red blood cells, are not the right shape. So they should be like a disc, concave and smooth. So they should be like, you know, able to go through your blood vessels without causing any kind of pain, discomfort or anything. And they should have a regular cycle. But instead your blood cells are sickle shaped, hence the name of the disease, sickle cells. Get it? Okay. They're sickle shaped, or like the shape of a banana, if you can imagine. And they're pointy on sides and they're sticky. So they clump together, they poke you in the arteries or in the veins, and they cause all sorts of problems and havoc in your life. So yeah, that's sickle cell in a nutshell. I will get into more detail on all of that and what all of that means in a different video. If you want to hear all about that, leave me a comment below and I will get on that immediately. But for now, I'm going to carry on with the pregnancy issue. If you have sickle cell anemia, sickle cell disease, you are probably on medication at the moment, or you are on a blood transfusion or an exchange program. Those are the only kind of viable treatment courses for sickle cell. There is no cure. There's nothing like that at the moment. And in Ireland, there's only one drug, hydroxyurea or hydrocarbamide. And that's a drug that I have been on since I was about 11 years old. Now that drug is a chemotherapy drug, so you actually cannot get pregnant while you're on that drug because it can cause all sorts of fetal abnormalities, and it can cause fatal fetal syndrome, and you can lose your baby and all that kind of stuff if you're on the drug and you're trying to get pregnant. You have to be very, very careful with your birth control when you have sickle cell and you're on that drug. You have to be very careful that you don't get pregnant. And if you decide to become pregnant, you need to let your doctor, your healthcare providers know that you intend to get pregnant, and then they work out a course for you with, you know, working with you, they'll work out a course of how to go about it. So what they usually do is that they have a crossover period where it's a 6-month time where they wean you off your drug, and then they put you on a transfusion or exchange program depending on the size of your veins. So for me, I was a bit bold about this, and I decided that I was just going to stop taking my medications. Do not do that, okay? Learn from my mistakes. Do not just go off your medicine. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for you, okay? You will get sick. You will get sick. It will take a couple of months, but you will get sick, and you'll end up delaying the course of your pregnancy by months or even years. You will have to get your sickle cells back down below 20% before your doctors will be able to give you the green light to get pregnant. This is going to be a lot of technical talk right now. If your sickle cells are above 20%, you are more likely to have a crisis during pregnancy, and you want to avoid those as much as possible. So when you have a sickle cell crisis, that could be anything from bony pain to stroke to anything like that. It could literally be like, it could happen anywhere in your body. So there should be a 6-month crossover period where they wean you off of your drug and they increase your blood transfusions. So you will have to get a transfusion or an exchange every 3 weeks or 4 weeks. For my case, I had to go on the blood transfusions instead of the exchange because my veins are teeny tiny and there was no way they were going to get all the stuff for an exchange in there. So I had to go on a blood transfusion program, and I had to go in every 3 weeks for my blood. This is essential and is vital for you to go in and to get the blood and to go to your appointments and make sure that your sickle cell levels stay under the 20%, because if you go over the 20%, you are more likely to sickle. You can still sickle when you're under 20%. I've been at 8% and I've still sickled, but I didn't have a full-blown acute sickle cell crisis. I had pain, I had muscly pain, bony pain and things like that, and I got headaches and things like that, and that was fine. But if you are over the 20%, you are more likely to have a sickle cell crisis. And if you have a sickle cell crisis in pregnancy and you're sickling in your brain, or you're sickling in your chest, you're getting a chest infection, or you're sickling in your back, you are likely to be sickling in the placenta. And this is the worry, because if you sickle in the placenta, it can cut off the blood flow to your fetus, and that can cause brain damage in your fetus, and it can cause you to lose your pregnancy. So you really don't want to miss your appointments. You really want to make sure that you're on top of all of your checks. You're on top of keeping yourself as healthy as possible throughout the 9 months that you are pregnant. So when you are getting pregnant in sickle cell, it's more than 9 months. It's really 6 months before you get pregnant. So you have to make sure that the hydroxyurea is out of your system for at least 3 months. Max, like 3 to 6 months is the required, but at least 3 months to get all of the drug out of your system, to make sure that it's not going to cause any problems for your fertility or any problems for your baby. And then, so you have that 6 months, and then you have the 9 months where you're pregnant, and then you also still have to have a 6-month crossover back on your drug if you're going back on your drug, or you can stay on the blood transfusion or the exchange program. That's basically how sickle cell works in pregnancy. So now I'm going to get into a little bit more of the detail. Also, if you are planning on getting pregnant, if you're on a drug that strips the iron from your body, which is usually the Exjade is what they give you, you will have to stop that, because that doesn't work in pregnancy either. That doesn't go with fetuses. Like it can make you infertile as well and all that kind of stuff. So you'll have to stop all of that stuff before you get pregnant. You'll have to remember as well that when you are pregnant and you have sickle cell, there's a much lower threshold for you being hospitalized. For me, before I was pregnant, I would get pain and stuff like that, and I would treat myself at home for 3 days. I would go on the painkillers, so Panadol, Nurofen, every 4 to 6 hours, and then usually that would make me feel better up by the 3rd day. But with your pregnancy, you cannot take Nurofen when you're pregnant. You cannot. So you will have to go into a hospital if you do feel like you're sickling or about to sickle or starting to sickle. You will have to go into the hospital so they can check the fetus, make sure that everything's okay with your baby, make sure that you are not sickling in your placenta, and make sure that your blood count and everything is still fine, and to keep you just as healthy as possible during your pregnancy so that you can have a safe pregnancy and a safe delivery. So during your pregnancy as well, it is important, so vital for you to keep yourself as healthy as possible. Eat better, get exercise if you can, keep yourself warm enough when it's cold weather and cool enough when it's hot weather, because if you have sickle cell, you know yourself, when the weather changes, you're more likely to start sickling, to get sick. When you're at extreme temperatures, you're more likely to get sick as well. So just keep yourself safe, keep yourself well, eat the good things you're supposed to eat. Eat your vegetables, eat your greens, take your prenatal vitamins, get enough exercise. Don't get too much exercise. It's a rough balance. You just okay, it's all about balance, right? So make sure that you keep yourself as healthy as possible. And I think this really helps me through my pregnancy. I found that just keeping myself as healthy as possible, eating as well as possible. I mean, I still treated myself. It's all about balance, right? I tried to keep as fit, as active as possible, because when you are not as active, your muscle tone weakens and you're more likely to sickle and get sick then. And then when you overexert yourself as well, you're more likely to have a crisis. So it is pretty much a fine balance, but just make sure that you get as fit as possible before your pregnancy so that you can have a good start for your pregnancy. That really, really helped me as well. I just made sure that I was as fit as I possibly could be before my pregnancy. We made sure that my sickle count was as low as possible. I think I was on 6% when I got pregnant. And because pregnancy actually shoots your sickle count up a lot. So when I got pregnant then, I think about 7 weeks, I was about 32%. So I went from like 6% to 32%, which is a big jump. So then they had to work on bringing me back down to under the 20%. But luckily I didn't have any major crises during my pregnancy. I'm so blessed to be able to say that. I didn't have any like major crises. I did get hospitalized once because I did start sickling. I was sickling in the back of my neck. I was getting the pulsing headaches and in my lower back as well at the same time. And so I was like scared. I was like, oh my gosh, if I'm sickling there, maybe I'm sickling the placenta. So we took me straight to the hospital, me and my husband, we went straight to the hospital. But thank God everything was fine. Baby was fine, he was kicking away in there. It was amazing. We thank God that didn't go any further. So then for post-pregnancy, you have to remember that when you have sickle cell, you are twice as likely to develop clots. So every woman is more likely to develop clots after pregnancy, but with sickle cell, you have a higher risk of developing clots. So they will put you on something for that. So for me, I had to go on these injections for 6 weeks post-pregnancy. And they were horrible. Like, it was a horrible time for me. I had to inject myself every single day. It was just like, and it was like right in my stomach. Like it was hella painful. Like they said, oh, it's not gonna be that painful. They lied. Okay, stop lying. Okay, they lied. So it was hella painful. I just had to keep injecting myself every single day. I'm like, can I just stop this? So very, very happy now that I'm 8 weeks postpartum and I don't have to do that anymore. Thank you, Jesus. Also with sickle cell, I'm more likely to have complications post-pregnancy. So for me, I got high blood pressure post-pregnancy, and that has something to do with the hormones I was given during my induction, as well as my sickle cell reacting probably to them or whatever. So I developed high blood pressure for about 2 weeks post-pregnancy, and that was a really, really tough time. I just had pounding headaches. I was weak. It was just awful. It was awful. You can check out that on my post-birth story. I think I talked about all of that in there. So then you also have to remember that post-pregnancy, you will have to still be on your 3-weekly, 4-weekly transfusion schedule. So, and whether you choose to go back on your drug if you were previously on your drug, or you're just staying on your transfusion or exchange program, that's totally up to you. And then now you can resume your iron chelation if you are on that. If you were on a blood transfusion, you can resume that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for sickle cell and pregnancy. You just have to take care of yourself a lot, like, better, because some people with sickle cell, their sickle cell is more active. It's more like reactive to things, and it's a lot more serious. And some people have it and they barely get crisis, they barely get anything, they just live normally. So it's just about your sickle cell and knowing your body as well, and what your body's going to react to, what your sickle cell is going to react to. And your sickle cell may react to pregnancy really, really badly. You may have a lot of crisis. You may have to be hospitalized more. It's really, there's not a whole lot you can do to control sickle cell, to be honest, but keeping yourself healthy definitely helps. Keeping yourself well definitely helps. Making sure that you stay hydrated as possible. I had to try and drink 4 liters every day throughout my pregnancy just to make sure that I was hydrating myself enough and hydrating the baby enough. And even then, my urine was still really dark, and it was like, and the nurses, every morning the nurses would be like, did you even drink water today? And I'm like, I just downed a liter this morning. What do you want from me at like 10 a.m.? Like, so yeah, you do have to keep hydrated, very, very hydrated. Make sure you hydrate yourself from your head to your toes, okay? I don't even know, just live in water, like just live in the water. And just do your best. That's really all you can do, because you don't really have a lot of control with sickle cell. If you have sickle cell, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't, it's really tough. It's really, really tough. Like every single day you have some sort of pain if you have pretty reactive sickle cell disease. So it is really tough to live with sickle cell, and it's really tough to be pregnant with sickle cell as well, because if you're a normal woman and you've ever been pregnant, you know pregnancy tired. So imagine feeling that tired every single day of your life without being pregnant. That's sickle cell. yeah. So we have to deal with that tiredness non-pregnant, and then we have to deal with that tiredness plus pregnancy tired at the same time. It's hella hard. It's really, really hard. It's so flippin' difficult. But you know what? Everyone has their cross to bear, so this is just my cross that I bear, and this is how I bear it. And I'm just sharing it with you guys because I know that there's a couple of people out here who follow me who do have sickle cell, and a couple of people who are trying to get pregnant as well. And maybe you're just curious about what sickle cell is like in pregnancy. So I hope you enjoyed this video either way. I think I've covered everything. If I haven't, feel free to leave me a comment down below with your question, or you can email me with your question as well. It's fashioncapital1@hotmail.com. It is linked down there, and it's linked on my channel as well. Or you can get me on Instagram or my socials as well. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative enough for you guys. If you'd like to go ahead and press the like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Love you. Bye, guys.